Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to try to make this just as short and sweet as possible. You've got a whole bunch of government insiders that are investing in distressed and foreclosed real estate, particularly tax foreclosures. They love those tax foreclosures over there at the courthouse, where the sheriff's deputies and the court administrators and the local real estate investors and the bankster gangsters can slop down all that distressed real estate. Folks, you've got this giant, massive subprime mortgage scandal that's been rocking the U.S. financial markets for 25, 30, 40 years now. Actually, it goes back to the 19-teens, the 1920s, and even back into the 17 and the 1800s. The old steal the real estate for nothing shuffle. Now, you've got trillions that vanished right up in smoke. And at the very same time, you got massively expensive campaigns being paid for by contributors to George Bush's, plural, and the Clintons, and the Obamas, and the Trumps, by all these real estate investor types that are getting fat cat rich on distressed foreclosed real estate, buying it for nickels and dimes because of all these predatory loans and all these real estate schemes and scams focused at selling real estate, development property, constructed homes from all the building materials down at the building supplying corporations. You know, the lumber, the insulation, the roofing, the tar paper, the drywall, all the cabinetry and the trim in the doors, and let's not forget all the appliances and everything else that goes along with a brand new subprime mortgage-backed security scheme and scam, and all those houses that they got wealthy off, all the houses they sold and financed with those subprime mortgages. Ladies and gentlemen, in America, you have the most sophisticated fraud schemes imaginable that have been perpetrated to allow the subprime mortgage-backed security markets to flourish. Now, I guess what we're going to do here is we're going to make this one very short and make it very sweet. The Housing and Urban Development Department, the Federal Housing Authority, or FHA, the Fannie Mae, the Freddie Mac, and all the Federal Home Loan Bank Board, and all these mortgage funding corporations like WAMU, Deutsche Bank, Wells Fargo, First City, Citibank, JP Morgan Chase, let's not forget good old Chase Bank, and every single other imaginable, TransStar Mortgage and Taylor, Bean and Whitaker, and let's see, Superior Bank, Western Bank, banks all over the United States have involved themselves in these real estate schemes and real estate scams for decades. This garbage behind the toxic asset recovery program of Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, what's his name, Eric Schneiderman from Albany, New York, and the Federal Reserve Bank, STRS, the Federal Reserve member banks, have been getting massively wealthy from all this real estate racketeering for decades. Now, the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Justice and the Treasury and the Office of Interstate Land Sales Registration at HUD, and one of my more famous group of fraud investigators would be the United States Secret Service. That's what they were created to do in the first place. The history of the United States Secret Service was to rout out and expose real estate scheming and real estate scamming and using bank loans, subprime mortgage-backed securities to rob the banks. Because you see, folks, if you're going to rob a bank, you got to figure out how to get the money out of the bank. So the best way to get the money out of the bank is with a speculative real estate scheme, selling tract homes and lots and subdivisions, and as the Clintons are noted for doing at Castle Grande, Maplewood Farms, Whitewater, and that little shindig it is up in Campobello Island in Canada. They were engaged in what is known in Arkansas as dirt dealing, the old art of the land flip and the churning of the mortgages and the churning of the titles in a big old daisy chain, an orgy of real estate speculation and bank robbing, savings and loan looting, and every other financial agency of the United States government has been robbed beyond freaking belief. You can find out all the information below in the links. And remember this guy right here, old Judson Rhythm from down there to Conroe, Texas, I've been exposing and blowing the whistle on this for 35 going on 40 years. So the next time you wonder where all those looted trillions vanished to, remember the campaigns of Bush, Clinton, Obama, and Donald J. Trump. Take a look into the real estate speculating contributors to old Donald J. Trump. And folks, I think even Jimmy Carter and Burt Lance of the Sunshine State Bank were doing this garbage back in the 1970s with Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr. And let's see, Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford, Lyndon Baines Johnson and John Fitzgerald Kennedy. These real estate schemes and real estate scams looting the United States government lending agencies, where they rob the financial agencies of the United States using real estate speculation. This garbage has been going on for decades. Not just the subprime, illegal, fraudulent foreclosure history of the last 10 or 15 years. These illegal foreclosure schemes and scams have been going on for decades. Folks, I'm leaving it right there, and as always, hasta la vista. God bless, and you can bet one thing, we're definitely, positively coming back.